The food never arrived. Dad's voice cracked across the phone. I could picture it perfectly. 20 relatives, all dressed up, sitting around our family's antique dining table. Empty plates, empty serving dishes. Just nothing. "Where's the catering, Sophia? Where is it?" I took a slow sip of my wine, looking out at the city lights from my apartment balcony 300 miles away. "Oh, I figured since I wasn't welcome at Thanksgiving, you didn't need my contribution either." Silence. Beautiful, satisfying silence. Before I tell you how we got here, if you appreciate stories about family justice and setting boundaries, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, by the end of this story, you'll understand why sometimes the best gift you can give difficult family members is exactly what they deserve. They forgot one crucial detail when they banned me from Thanksgiving. For the past 7 years, I wasn't just attending dinner. I was funding it every single year. Let me take you back to where this all started. 7 years ago, when I was 25 and still desperate to prove I mattered to my family. The Morrison family, my family, looked perfect from the outside. Dad worked in middle management, Mom stayed home, my older brother Ryan was the golden child who could do no wrong, and then there was me, Sophia, the one who tried so hard but somehow never quite measured up. Ryan was everything they wanted. Harvard Law School graduate, successful attorney at a prestigious firm, married to Lindsay, who came from money, 3 kids in private school. He was their pride and joy, and they made sure everyone knew it. I was the other one. The daughter who went to state school, who worked in marketing, or as Dad would say when introducing me, she does something with computers and advertising. The one whose accomplishments were acknowledged with a polite, "That's nice, honey," before the conversation inevitably swung back to Ryan's latest courtroom victory. Thanksgiving was the Morrison family's Super Bowl. Mom treated it like an Olympic event she was determined to medal in. Every year, extended family would gather, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, and Mom would hold court as the hostess with the mostest. People would rave about her incredible Thanksgiving spreads. The perfectly golden turkey, the sides that tasted like they came from a 5-star restaurant, the desserts that looked like they belonged in a magazine. What nobody knew, what I wasn't allowed to tell them, was that none of it was real. Not in the way they thought. The tradition started 7 years ago, right after I landed my first real job out of college. I was working as a junior marketing coordinator, making $35,000 a year and feeling like I'd finally made it. I had my own apartment, my own car payment, my own life. That October, Dad lost his job. The company he'd worked at for 15 years downsized, and suddenly my parents were struggling, really struggling. Mom had never worked outside the home, and Dad's severance package was laughable. I called home one evening and Mom answered crying. Not her usual dramatic tears when she didn't get her way, but real, scared crying. "We might have to cancel Thanksgiving this year," she sobbed. "We can't afford it. Your father is so ashamed. What will everyone think?" My heart broke. For all their faults, they were still my parents, and Thanksgiving was everything to them, or more accurately, to their image. "Mom," I said, barely thinking it through, "what if I helped? What if I covered the cost of Thanksgiving?" The crying stopped instantly. "You would do that?" "Of course. We're family." She was quiet for a moment, then, "That's so generous, sweetheart, but could we keep this between us? Your father would be mortified if people knew we couldn't afford our own Thanksgiving. You understand, don't you?" I should have seen the red flag, the giant, waving, neon red flag. But I was 25 and desperate to be the hero, desperate to be seen. Sure, Mom, our secret. That year, I spent $2,000 I barely had on catering, decorations, and wine. I worked with Mom on the menu, coordinated delivery times, helped her arrange everything so it looked homemade. The turkey came pre-cooked and golden from an upscale catering company. The sides were prepared by professional chefs. The pies were from the bakery that supplied Michelin star restaurants. Thanksgiving Day arrived, and I watched as 20 relatives praised my mother's cooking skills. Watched as Dad beamed with pride at the spread. Watched as Uncle Tom declared it the best Thanksgiving yet. And when Aunt Linda asked Mom for her turkey recipe, I watched my mother smile and say, "Oh, it's a family secret." I told myself it was fine. They were going through a hard time. Next year would be different, except it wasn't. The next October, Dad had found a new job, but Mom called anyway. "Honey, about Thanksgiving. Would you mind helping out again? Just until we get back on our feet completely." I hesitated. "Mom, is Dad still struggling financially?" "Well, not struggling exactly, but we're not where we used to be, and everyone expects such a wonderful meal now." So I paid again. $2,500 that time, and the year after that, $3,000. By year 4, I'd been promoted twice. I was making decent money, living comfortably. Dad had been at his new job for years. There was no financial crisis. But when October rolled around, Mom's call came like clockwork. "Sophia, sweetie, about Thanksgiving." The amount crept up each year. More guests. More expensive items. Organic this. Imported that. By last year, I was paying nearly $5,000 for a dinner that seated 20 people. People who thought my parents were just naturally gifted hosts. And every single year I was asked, no, told, to keep it quiet. "We don't want to make it awkward," Dad would say. What they meant was, "We don't want people to know we're not as put together as we seem." What they didn't say, but I eventually understood, was, "Your contribution doesn't count if we can't take credit for it." The family dynamic had always been skewed, but those 7 years crystallized it into something I could no longer ignore. At every Thanksgiving, the pattern repeated itself. Ryan would arrive with a $40 bottle of wine, not even a good one, and you'd think he'd brought liquid gold. "Ryan, this is wonderful," Mom would gush, holding it up for everyone to see. "Only the best for you, Mom," he'd say, kissing her cheek while relatives oohed and awed. Meanwhile, I'd arrive having coordinated $6,000 worth of food, decorations, and rentals. I'd get a quick hug, a "thanks, sweetie," muttered, where no one else could hear, and then I'd watch my mother accept compliments for my money all evening long. The dinner conversation was even worse. "Ryan just made partner at his firm," Dad would announce, standing up to tap his glass like he was giving a toast. Everyone would applaud. Cousins would congratulate him. Grandma Morrison would tear up with pride. "What about you, Sophia?" Aunt Linda asked once, 3 years ago. "How's work going?" "Actually, I just got promoted to—" "Ryan," Mom interrupted, not even looking at me. "Tell everyone about that case you won, the one in the news." And just like that, I disappeared. It happened every time I tried to share something about my life. Every achievement I mentioned got minimized, interrupted, or straight up ignored. Meanwhile, Ryan could mention he'd had a good sandwich for lunch, and it would spark a 10-minute conversation about his refined palate. Last year was particularly painful. I'd just gotten promoted to senior marketing manager with a significant raise. I was excited to share the news. "That's nice, honey," Mom said absently when I told her. "Oh, did you see Ryan's family photos from their vacation to Tuscany? He rented a villa." Later that evening, Aunt Linda cornered me in the kitchen. "Sophia, dear," she said with that pitying look I'd grown to hate, "when are you going to settle down like your brother? He really has it all figured out." I was 31 years old, 6 figures in salary with my own condo and a thriving career. But because I wasn't married with kids like Ryan, I hadn't figured it out. I smiled politely and changed the subject, because that's what I always did. Keep the peace. Don't make waves. Be grateful for the scraps of attention. The worst part wasn't even the lack of recognition. It was the moments when I saw the truth clearly, when the mask slipped and I realized how little I actually mattered to them beyond what I could provide. 2 years ago, I mentioned in the family group chat that I was thinking of moving to Seattle for a job opportunity. Better position, better pay, better life. Radio silence for 3 days. Then, Sophia, about Thanksgiving next month, you'll still be here for that, right? We're counting on you. Not, congratulations on the opportunity. Not, we'd miss you. Just, we're counting on you. And we all knew what that meant. They were counting on my bank account. I didn't take the Seattle job. I told myself it was because I liked my current city, my friends, my life here. But deep down, I knew the truth. I was afraid that if I moved, I'd lose the one tenuous connection I had to my family, even if that connection was just being their secret ATM. Last year, I tried something different. I tried to buy my way into being valued. I upgraded everything, ordered from the most expensive caterer in the state, added a raw bar with fresh oysters and shrimp, bought 3 types of premium wine, hired someone to do custom calligraphy place cards, got fresh flower centerpieces that cost more than some people's weekly grocery budget. Total, $6,400. I thought, surely this will make them see my worth. Surely they'll acknowledge this. Thanksgiving Day came. The house looked like something out of a magazine. Guests arrived and gasped at the elegance. "Margaret," Grandma Morrison said to my mother, "you've outdone yourself this year." Mom literally glowed. "Oh, you know me. I just love making the holidays special for family." I waited for her to say something, anything. A Sophia helped, or we worked together on this, or even just a glance in my direction. Nothing. Ryan posted photos on social media that night. "Blessed to have a mom who throws the best Thanksgivings. Family first, grateful." The post got 200 likes. Comments poured in about how lucky he was, what an amazing family, goals, blessed, all of it. I wasn't in a single photo, not one. Even though I'd shown up, helped set up, carved the turkey, served guests, I was somehow invisible in the visual record of a day I'd funded entirely. I screenshot Ryan's post and sent it to my best friend, Emma. "I paid for everything in this photo," I typed. "The food, the decorations, the wine, everything, and I'm not even in the picture." Emma called me immediately. "Soph, this is insane. You know that, right? This whole situation is completely insane." "It's just how they are," I said, my default response. "No, it's how you let them be." That hit differently, because she was right. 6 months before this Thanksgiving, the one that would change everything, I started seeing a therapist named Dr. Chen. I'd gone initially for work stress, but it didn't take long for the conversation to shift to family. "You pay for an expensive family event every year," Dr. Chen said. Her voice neutral, but her eyes sharp. "And they not only don't acknowledge it, but they actively take credit for your contribution. Why do you continue this pattern?" "Because they're my family." "And if a friend treated you this way?" I didn't have an answer. "Sophia, I want you to consider something," she continued. "What if your family's love is conditional? Conditional on you providing resources while demanding no recognition or reciprocity? That's not... They love me. Do they? Or do they love what you can do for them?" I went home and cried for 3 hours, because deep down I knew the answer. September came, and with it, my promotion. Senior Director of Analytics at Tech Forward, a rapidly growing marketing analytics firm. 40% raise. Corner office. My own team of 15 people. I was thrilled. This was everything I'd worked for. Validation that I was good at what I did, that I had value in the professional world. I called home that evening, practically bouncing with excitement. "Mom, I got the promotion, Senior Director. I'm making 6 figures now." "That's wonderful, honey," she said, distracted. "Listen, I'm glad you called. About Thanksgiving, we're thinking of upgrading the menu this year. The Hendersons are coming, and you know how they are. Can you handle 6,500, maybe 7,000 to be safe? I stopped bouncing. Did you hear what I said about the promotion? Of course. Senior something. Very impressive. So about the menu, I'm emailing you the details. And Sophia, make sure you order from that place that does the ice sculpture. The Hendersons had one at their party, and we can't be outdone. She hung up before I could respond. I sat there, phone in hand, and something cracked inside me. Not broke, just cracked. Like the first fracture in a dam that's been holding back too much pressure for too long. That night, Emma came over with wine. How'd your parents react to the promotion news? I told her. Emma's face went through several emotions: shock, anger, disgust, before settling on determined. Soph, what would happen if you just didn't pay this year? I don't know. Would they notice? Obviously. They'd have no food. No. Would they notice you? Would they miss you? Or would they just miss your money? I wanted to defend them. Wanted to say of course they'd miss me, their daughter, beyond my bank account. But I couldn't. Because I genuinely didn't know. Let me ask you something else, Emma said. When's the last time any of them asked about your life? Not about what you can contribute to theirs. Your life. Your interests, your dreams, you. I opened my mouth to answer and realized I couldn't remember. Not a single instance in recent memory. You've been dating Marcus for 8 months, Emma continued. Have any of them asked about him? Asked to meet him? Marcus. I'd mentioned him exactly once in the family group chat. Seeing someone new with a smiley face. Ryan had responded with a thumbs-up emoji. My parents hadn't responded at all. Do any of them know about your hospital stay in August? Oh God, in August I'd had emergency gallbladder surgery. I'd texted the family group chat from the hospital. Hey everyone, having emergency surgery today. Gallbladder issues, I'll be here for a few days. Mom's response, 6 hours later. Oh no, hope you feel better soon, sweetheart. BTW, early question, but want to start planning. Can you still handle Thanksgiving payment? Just want to make sure we're covered. Get well. Not, do you need anything? Not, should we come visit? Just concern about whether my medical emergency would interfere with their dinner plans 3 months away. I'd responded, I'll be fine and nothing else. No follow-up questions came. No one called to check on me. When I got home from the hospital 3 days later, there were flowers on my doorstep. From my co-workers. Nothing from family. They don't know me, I whispered to Emma that night. They literally don't know me. No, Emma agreed sadly. They don't. And the worst part, they don't want to. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I made a decision. I was going to test something. I was going to see if anyone at all, valued me beyond my wallet. The family group chat was active with Mom organizing the holiday. Mom, okay everyone, 2 weeks until Turkey Day. Ryan, you're bringing wine as usual? Ryan, you know it, got my eye on a nice Cabernet. Mom, perfect. Jessica, you're doing your famous pumpkin pie? Cousin Jessica, wouldn't miss it. Mom, wonderful, can't wait to see everyone. I stared at my phone. She'd assigned tasks to Ryan and Jessica. She hadn't mentioned me once, because my task was understood, unspoken, expected. I typed, hey everyone, what would you like me to bring this year? The 3 dots appeared immediately from Mom, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, oh honey, just the usual. The usual was never specified, never named, because naming it would make it real, would make it something they'd have to acknowledge. I tried again. What's the usual? Want me to make something? Mom's response came via private text, not in the group chat. Sophia, sweetheart, just handle the catering like always. Here's the menu I'm thinking. Make it extra special this year. The Hendersons are coming and we need to impress. The attachment loaded. The menu was insane. Dry-aged prime rib and heritage turkey, lobster tail appetizers, truffle mac and cheese, 5 different desserts including custom petit fours. Estimated cost, $6,500 minimum. No please. No thank you in advance. No, is this okay? Just an order, an expectation, an assumption that I would comply. And the kicker, the final line of her text. Don't mention the catering company to anyone. You know how people are. I'll say I cooked everything. Something in me went cold and clear, like water freezing over. That night, I did something I should have done years ago. I actually added up what I'd spent. Year 1, 2,000 year 2, 2,500 year 3, 3,000 year 4, 3,500 year 5, 4,200 year 6, 4,900 year 7. Last year, $6,400 total, $32,400. I stared at that number. $32,000. That was a down payment on a house. That was 2 years of maxing out a retirement account. That was financial security I'd given away for what? For the privilege of being invisible? I made a decision. I ordered the catering. Every ridiculous item on Mom's menu. Added the ice sculpture she wanted. Spared no expense. And then I added special instructions. Deliver only upon confirmation call by 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day. If no confirmation received, cancel order and refund in full. I had no intention of making that call. 10 days before Thanksgiving, my parents invited Ryan and me for a casual family dinner. Just the 5 of us. Mom, Dad, Ryan, Lindsay, and me. Marcus was working late, which was probably for the best. The dinner was awkward from the start. Mom's pot roast was dry. Her actual cooking was nothing like the catered meals she took credit for. And conversation was stilted. Lindsay, Ryan's wife, was scrolling through her phone while Mom talked about the upcoming Thanksgiving. "I'm so excited," Mom said. "This year's going to be our best yet." "The turkey better not be dry like this roast," Lindsay muttered, not looking up. Mom's face tightened. "Excuse me?" "Last year's turkey was dry too," Lindsay continued, still on her phone. "Sophia, you should have ordered from that place I told you about." The table went silent. "I didn't order anything," I said carefully. "That was Mom's cooking." Lindsay finally looked up. "Oh, I thought you always handled the food." The silence got heavier. "Only for Thanksgiving," I said, my voice steady, "when I pay for it." You could have heard a pin drop. Dad set down his fork. "Sophia." "Wait," Lindsay said, her lawyer instincts kicking in. "You pay for Thanksgiving? Like all of it?" "This is an appropriate dinner conversation," Mom said quickly, but I was done protecting their secret, done being complicit in my own erasure. "Yes," I said directly to Lindsay. "I pay for all of it, every year for the past 7 years. The catering, the decorations, the wine, all of it." Ryan looked uncomfortable. "Soph, did you know that?" Lindsay asked her husband. I mean, I knew she helped." "Helped?" I laughed, and it sounded bitter even to my own ears. "I don't help. I fund. There's a difference." Dad's face was red. "We never asked you to pay. You volunteered." And there it was, the defense I'd known was coming. Did I volunteer? Or did you condition your acceptance of me on my financial contributions while making sure no one knew about it? "That's not fair," Mom said, tears starting. "We've always been grateful." "Have you?" I interrupted. "When's the last time you thanked me publicly? When's the last time you told Aunt Linda or Uncle Tom or anyone that I'm the reason those Thanksgivings happen? We didn't want to embarrass you." "Embarrass me? Or embarrass yourselves? Because there's a difference, Mom. You didn't want people to know you couldn't afford it. So you took my money and took the credit and left me standing there like I contributed nothing." Ryan tried to mediate. "Look, this is getting out of hand. We're family. Family helps each other." "Right," I cut him off. "Family helps each other. So tell me, Ryan, when's the last time you helped me?" He blinked. What do you mean? You bring a $40 bottle of wine and get a standing ovation. I spend thousands and get a private thanks. You mention a good sandwich and get 10 minutes of conversation. I got promoted to senior director, making 6 figures, and Mom asked if I could increase my Thanksgiving payment. So tell me, in what way do you help me? That's not the same. You're right, it's not. Because I'm the one doing all the helping. You're just the one reaping all the benefits. Lindsay was nodding slightly. Dad looked furious. Mom was crying. Ryan looked confused, like he genuinely couldn't understand why I was upset. And that, more than anything, told me everything I needed to know. You got promoted? Dad asked, and I couldn't tell if he was genuinely asking or trying to change the subject. When? 6 months ago. I told you. Mom asked if I could afford to increase my Thanksgiving budget. His face said he didn't remember. Of course he didn't. Senior director, I continued. 40% raise. I make $180,000 a year now. Ryan's face went slack. Wait, you make what? 180. More than you, actually. But you wouldn't know that because none of you ever asked. The dinner deteriorated from there. Dad got defensive. Mom kept crying and saying I was being dramatic. Ryan tried to play peacemaker while simultaneously defending himself. And me? I sat there feeling oddly calm, like I'd finally said out loud what I'd been thinking for years. As I got up to leave, Dad's voice stopped me. If you're going to have this attitude, maybe you shouldn't come to Thanksgiving at all. I turned slowly. What? You heard me. His face was set, stubborn. If you're going to throw our generosity back in our faces, maybe you need some time to think about what family really means. Mom gasped. Honey. But Dad continued. Maybe take this year off. Figure out your priorities. I looked at Mom, waiting for her to defend me, to say, don't be ridiculous. Of course Sophia should come. Instead, she dabbed her eyes with her napkin and said quietly, maybe that's for the best, until you're ready to apologize. The room spun. They were banning me from Thanksgiving, from the holiday I'd been funding for 7 years. Okay, I said, my voice eerily steady. I'll take the year off. Ryan looked relieved, like the conflict was over. Great, so you'll still take the year off from everything, I finished. Completely. Mom's head snapped up. What does that mean? It means exactly what it sounds like. I'm taking the year off from Thanksgiving. All of it. But you'll still handle the, why would I pay $6,000 for a party I'm banned from? The realization hit them like cold water. Dad's face went pale. Mom's mouth opened and closed like a fish. You're not. You can't be serious, Dad stammered. You just banned me from Thanksgiving and told me to think about what family means. So I am. And you know what? I don't think family means funding the people who make me feel invisible. I walked to the door. Sophia, Mom called. You're overreacting. I turned back one last time. I got promoted 6 months ago. I've been dating someone for 8 months. I adopted a dog in June. I had emergency surgery in August. Name one of those things without me having just told you. Silence. That's what I thought. I left and I didn't look back. The next 3 days were a blur. My phone exploded with calls and texts. Ryan called 5 times. I ignored all of them. The family group chat became a chaos of confusion. Mom's text in the chat, Sophia, we need to talk about the catering. Me, no response. Day 2, Dad joined. Sophia Marie Morrison, your mother is talking to you. I muted the chat. Day 3, Ryan called again. Against my better judgment, I answered, Look, he started, I know you're upset, but you can't just ghost Mom about the catering. She's stressed. I'm not coming to Thanksgiving. Dad made that clear. Yeah, but you're still handling the food, right? I mean, you always do. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Ryan, Why would I pay $6,500 for a party I'm banned from? Don't be petty. This is about family. You're right, it is about family. And for 7 years, I've been asking myself when my family was going to treat me like I matter. The answer is never. So I'm done. Wait, you're serious? You're not ordering the catering? That's correct. But everyone's expecting Mom and Dad to host. They're the hosts, right? Let them actually host. Sophia, I need to go. I hung up and blocked his number. Then Mom's, then Dad's. Emma came over that night with Thai food and wine. So you really did it, she said, settling onto my couch. You pulled the plug. I really did. How do you feel? I thought about it. Free, terrified, guilty, relieved, all of it. The guilt will pass. That's just conditioning talking. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Ryan must have borrowed someone's phone. Guys, we have a problem, it read in the family group chat I'd been removed from. Emma screenshot it and sent it to me. Sophia's not ordering the catering. Mom, what? She's joking. Dad, she's being childish. We'll order it ourselves. 30 seconds later. Holy shit, that's the cost? Ryan, I told you it was expensive. Dad, $6,500? Mom, plus the ice sculpture is another $400. There was a long pause in the chat. Then, wait, she's been paying this much every year? Ryan, for 7 years, yeah. Another long pause. Uncle Tom jumped in. So Sophia's been funding Thanksgiving. I thought you guys just loved to cook. The truth was spilling out, and I wasn't even there to see it. Emma was reading me the updates in real time, both of us curled on my couch. Oh, this is good, Emma said, scrolling. Cousin Jessica just asked why no one ever mentioned this. What did Mom say? We didn't want to make Sophia uncomfortable. Girl, the audacity. My phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was from Mom, calling from a neighbor's phone. Sophia, sweetheart, let's talk about this. You're upset, I understand, but we can fix this. Call me back. We need to finalize the menu by tomorrow or everything will be booked. I deleted it. 4 days before Thanksgiving, I got an email from the catering company. Ms. Morrison, we haven't received your confirmation call for the November 28th order. According to the instructions, we need confirmation by 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day, or the order will be automatically canceled. Please advise if you'd like to modify these terms. I typed back, no modification needed. If I don't confirm by 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving, please cancel the full order and process the refund. Thank you. Their reply was immediate. Confirmed. Happy Thanksgiving. I smiled. It would be one way or another. Meanwhile, 300 miles away at my parents' house, panic was setting in. Emma's cousin worked with Lindsay's sister, and the small-town gossip chain was feeding us information. Apparently, my parents had tried to book 4 different catering companies. All were booked solid. Thanksgiving was in 4 days. Nothing was available. We'll cook it ourselves, Dad declared. Mom's response, for 20 people, I haven't cooked a turkey in 10 years. Ryan offered to pay for delivery from whatever restaurants were open on Thanksgiving. Mom shot that down. We're not serving our family Boston market. My grandmother called me from her own number. I almost didn't answer, but I'd always had a soft spot for Grandma Morrison. Sophia, baby, she said when I picked up. Hi, Grandma. What in the hell is going on with your parents? I exhaled and told her everything. Not the sanitized version, not the it's complicated version. The real version, all 7 years of it. When I finished, there was a long silence. Those idiots, she finally said. I laughed despite myself. Grandma, no, they're idiots. You've been bankrolling their show-off dinners for 7 years and they never once gave you credit? They didn't want people to know they needed help. Oh, I know exactly what they didn't want. They didn't want people to know they're not as perfect as they pretend to be, so they used you. Hearing someone else, especially Grandma, validate what I'd been feeling made emotion well up in my throat. "Are you going to their Thanksgiving?" I asked. "Hell no. I'm going to Aunt Linda's. She actually knows how to cook, and she's not a narcissist. You're welcome to come if you want." "Actually, I have other plans, but thank you, Grandma, really." "Good. You go live your life, baby. Let them figure out their own mess." 2 days before Thanksgiving, I got a call from my CEO, Jennifer Chen. "Sophia, do you have plans for Thanksgiving?" I hesitated. "Probably just relaxing at home." "Why?" "I'm hosting a Friendsgiving at my place. About 12 of us, all successful women who either don't have family nearby or choose not to spend holidays with them. Good food, good wine, good conversation, no drama. Interested?" I felt tears prick my eyes. "That sounds perfect." "Great. Bring that boyfriend of yours too. Marcus, right? I'd love to meet him." I froze. "How did you know about Marcus?" "You mentioned him in our one-on-one 3 months ago. Said you were excited about where it was going." She remembered. My CEO remembered a casual comment about my personal life from 3 months ago, and my parents didn't know he existed. "We'd love to come," I managed. "Perfect. And Sophia? Whatever you're dealing with family-wise, based on your hesitation, I'm guessing it's something. I just want you to know that you're valued. Here, in this company, and personally, by me. You're brilliant at what you do, and you deserve to be appreciated." I sat down hard on my couch. "Thank you. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that." "Anytime. See you Thursday." Thanksgiving morning arrived crisp and cold. My phone was still blowing up with blocked numbers, family members trying to reach me. Marcus and I got ready together at my apartment. He looked handsome in a navy sweater, and my dog Cooper was bouncing around excited about all the activity. "You sure you're okay?" Marcus asked, kissing my forehead. "We can still bail if you want." "I'm more than okay. I'm ready to spend a holiday with people who actually want me there." We drove to Jennifer's beautiful home in the suburbs. The house was warm and decorated tastefully, and I could smell amazing food from the driveway. Inside, I met the other women, all powerhouses in their respective fields: a surgeon, a tech entrepreneur, a best-selling author, a federal judge, women who'd built empires, who'd chosen themselves, who knew their worth. And they welcomed me, U.S., like we'd always belonged. "Sophia," Jennifer called from the kitchen, "come help me with the appetizers." As I entered the kitchen, my phone buzzed. It was 2:30 p.m. Text from Grandma Morrison. "Your mother just called me crying. Says there's barely any food and everyone's arriving. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Love you, baby." I smiled and silenced my phone. In that kitchen, surrounded by women who celebrated each other, I realized something. This was what Thanksgiving was supposed to feel like. Warm, welcome, valued, not invisible. At 3 p.m., 300 miles away, 20 relatives were sitting around my parents' dining table, looking at a spread that consisted of one small turkey, watery mashed potatoes, store-bought rolls, and canned cranberry sauce. And that's when my father's voice cracked across the phone line to me. "The food never arrived." But I'm getting ahead of myself. That confrontation, that beautiful, terrible, necessary confrontation that comes next. For now, I was exactly where I needed to be, with people who saw me, who valued me, who asked about my life, my dreams, my actual self beyond what I could provide for them. And for the first time in 7 years, I spent Thanksgiving feeling truly thankful. At Jennifer's house, I was laughing at a story the federal judge was telling when my phone started buzzing. I glanced at the screen. "Dad." I silenced it and went back to the conversation. It buzzed again. Mom's number, one I thought I'd blocked, then Ryan, then an unknown number. Marcus caught my eye from across the room and raised his eyebrows in question. I shook my head slightly. Not now. Jennifer was pouring wine when she noticed. "Everything okay?" Family emergency, I said with air quotes. Their emergency, not mine. She smiled knowingly. Want to take it outside? No judgment either way. I looked at my phone. 7 missed calls in 3 minutes. Part of me wanted to ignore it completely. But the other part, the part that had waited 7 years for this exact moment, that part wanted to answer. Actually, yeah, I think I do. I stepped onto Jennifer's back patio, Marcus following close behind. The November air was cold, but the sky was clear. I could hear laughter and conversation from inside, the sound of people genuinely enjoying each other's company. I took a deep breath and called Dad back. He answered on the first ring. The food never arrived. His voice was panicked, strained. Sophia, where's the food? Where is it? I could picture it perfectly. 20 relatives dressed in their Thanksgiving best, sitting around that antique table Mom was so proud of. The table set with her fancy china and crystal glasses, candles flickering, everything looking perfect, except for one crucial detail: no food. What food? I asked calmly, taking a sip of my wine. The catering. The food you ordered. The turkey, the sides, everything. Where is it? Oh, I said, my voice light. I didn't order any food this year. Silence. Complete, shocked silence. Then, what do you mean you didn't order food? You always order the food. Actually, Dad, you banned me from Thanksgiving. Remember, you said I should take the year off to think about what family means. So I did. I took the year off from everything. More silence. I could hear background noise. Voices, movement, someone saying, "What's going on?" Sophia. Dad's voice dropped lower, like he was trying not to be overheard. You know what we meant. We didn't mean... No, I don't know what you meant. Please, explain it to me. This is not the time for games. I'm not playing games. I'm 300 miles away at a friend's house, having a wonderful Thanksgiving with people who actually want me here. You told me not to come, so I didn't. Mom's voice suddenly came through, sharp and desperate. She must have grabbed the phone. Sophia Marie Morrison, this is not funny. We have 20 people here expecting dinner. And you're the hosts, I replied evenly. So host. But we don't have any food. The turkey is barely enough for 8 people. The sides are a disaster. Sounds like you should have planned better. We were counting on you. Funny, you banned me but still expected me to pay. That's interesting math, Mom. I could hear her breathing hard, fighting for composure. In the background, someone, it sounded like Aunt Linda, said loudly, "Is that Sophia? Is she bringing food?" "Well," Mom hissed into the phone, "are you?" "No." "Sophia. Ryan's there, right? He's successful. Maybe he can contribute more than a $40 bottle of wine for once." "Hey!" Ryan's voice came from somewhere nearby. He must have been standing close enough to hear. "Or," I continued, "you could order delivery. I hear several restaurants do Thanksgiving takeout." "Everything is closed or booked," Mom was nearly shouting now. "You did this on purpose." "I did exactly what you told me to do. I took the year off." "But you knew we needed..." She stopped herself, but the damage was done. "Needed what, Mom? My money? Because you certainly didn't need me. You made that very clear." Grandma Morrison's voice cut through the chaos in the background. "Someone give me that phone, now." There was a scuffling sound, then Grandma's voice came through, sharp and clear. "Sophia, sweetheart, where are you?" My tone automatically softened. "Hi, Grandma, I'm at my boss's house, having Friendsgiving." "Good. You stay right there. These fools can figure out their own mess." "Mom," Dad protested in the background. "Oh, shut up, Robert," Grandma snapped. "Sophia, honey, before I hand this phone back to these idiots, tell everyone here the truth. How long have you been paying for Thanksgiving?" I hesitated. This was it. The moment the secret I'd been keeping, the secret they demanded I keep, would finally come out to everyone. 7 years, I said clearly, starting when I was 25. Someone gasped. Multiple people, actually. And how much? Grandma pressed. Started at $2,000. This year would have been $6,500. More gasps. The background noise grew louder, multiple people talking at once. Uncle Tom's voice boomed out. Wait, Sophia has been paying for all of this? I thought you guys were just amazing cooks, Aunt Linda added. Oh my God, Cousin Jessica said. I've been thanking the wrong people for 7 years. Mom tried to speak. We never said. You never corrected anyone either, I interrupted. You took my money and took the credit. Every single year. Grandma made a disgusted sound. You all should be ashamed of yourselves, particularly you two. She must have been looking at my parents. That girl has been funding your show-off dinners for 7 years, and you never once acknowledged her? We thanked her privately, Mom protested. Did you? I asked. Because from where I'm standing, you sent me a catering list and assumed I'd comply. No please, no thank you in advance, just expectations. And when I tried to share actual news from my life, like my promotion, you asked if I could increase my budget. The silence was deafening now. Even through the phone, I could feel the weight of it. What promotion? Dad asked weakly. The one I got 6 months ago. Senior Director of Analytics. 40% raise. I make $180,000 a year now. I heard Ryan swear softly. You make what? $180,000, which is, by the way, about $50,000 more than you make Ryan. But none of you asked. You just assumed I was doing okay with my marketing thing. Cousin Mark's voice. Dude, your sister makes more than you. Apparently, Ryan muttered. And you were still making her pay for everything? Mark continued. That's messed up, man. I didn't make her. You just benefited from it, I cut in. Every year. Bringing your cheap wine and getting praised like you'd contributed something meaningful while I paid thousands. And you know what the worst part was? You were okay with it. You saw the imbalance and you did nothing. That's not fair. What's not fair is that I've been dating someone for 8 months and none of you know his name. What's not fair is that I adopted a dog in June and none of you asked about him. What's not fair is that I had emergency surgery in August and you texted me, "Hope you feel better," and then immediately asked about Thanksgiving payment. You had surgery? Mom's voice was small now. When? August 15th, emergency gallbladder removal. I was in the hospital for 3 days. I texted the family group chat from my hospital bed. Aunt Linda spoke up. I don't remember seeing that. Because it got buried under plans for some family barbecue Ryan was hosting, I said. 23 messages about what kind of beer to buy. My surgery announcement got one response. Mom asking if I'd still be recovered enough to handle my responsibilities by Thanksgiving. The background noise had changed. It wasn't chaos anymore. It was the uncomfortable silence of people realizing they'd been complicit in something wrong. Jennifer appeared at the patio door, mouthing, "Okay?" I nodded and gave her a small smile. She squeezed my shoulder and went back inside, leaving the door cracked. "Sophia," Uncle Tom said, and he actually sounded genuinely upset. I had no idea. If I'd known... That's just it, I interrupted gently. You all assumed Mom and Dad were these amazing hosts, and they were happy to let you think that because it made them look good. But I'm the one who made it happen. And they not only refused to acknowledge it, they demanded I keep it secret. We didn't want to embarrass you, Mom started. No, you didn't want to embarrass yourselves. There's a difference. You didn't want people to know you couldn't afford the lifestyle you were projecting. So you used my money and my silence to maintain an illusion. Dad's voice came back, and he sounded tired, defeated. So this is it? You're just done with us? I'm done being used. I'm done being invisible. I'm done paying for the privilege of being an afterthought in my own family. We never thought of you as an afterthought. Dad. Pop quiz. What's my boyfriend's name? Silence. What's my dog's name? More silence. What hospital was I in? What was the name of the surgery I had? Nothing. See? You don't know me. You know what I can do for you, but you don't know me. A new voice, Jennifer's, came from behind me. I turned to see her standing in the doorway with her own phone. Sorry to interrupt, but is this Sophia's family? Who is this? Dad asked suspiciously. Jennifer took my phone gently. This is Jennifer Chen. I'm Sophia's CEO at Tech Forward. She put it on speaker. Her CEO? Mom sounded confused. Yes, and I'm calling because Sophia is at my home for Thanksgiving. She's my guest. Actually, she's my friend. And I wanted you to know that she's invaluable to my company and a wonderful human being. You should be incredibly proud of her. We are proud, Dad started. Really? Because from what I can hear, you've spent years taking advantage of her generosity while giving her nothing in return. Not recognition, not appreciation, not even basic interest in her life. Jennifer's voice was polite but steel-edged. Do you know that Sophia runs a team of 15 people? That she closed a $3 million account last quarter? That she's speaking at a national conference in January? Silence. I didn't think so. Well, I do, because I actually pay attention to the people I care about. She handed the phone back to me with an encouraging nod and went back inside. The silence stretched on. Then Grandma spoke again. You two, she said, and I knew she meant my parents, have been taking that girl for granted since she was born, always comparing her to Ryan, always minimizing her achievements, always expecting her to give and give and give while offering nothing in return. That's not true, Mom protested, but she sounded like she was crying. It absolutely is true. I've watched it for years, and I've kept my mouth shut because I hoped you'd eventually see what you were doing. But you didn't. You just kept taking. And now you're surprised she's finally standing up for herself? Mom, please. Dad tried. No. I'm ashamed of you both. And Ryan, you're just as bad. Sitting back and watching your sister be treated this way while you soaked up all the praise. I didn't realize, oh, exactly. You didn't realize because you didn't want to. It was comfortable for you. Marcus put his hand on my shoulder, supportive and solid. I leaned into him slightly, drawing strength. Cousin Jessica spoke up again. Sophia, I'm really sorry. I feel terrible that I never questioned why you were always so quiet at these things. I should have noticed. Thank you, I said sincerely. That actually means a lot. Where are you right now? Aunt Linda asked. Are you alone? No, I'm at my CEO's house with about 12 other people. Very successful, very kind women who've built incredible lives. And my boyfriend Marcus is here with me. I reached for his hand. They've been asking me about my promotion, my job, my life. It's been wonderful. Your boyfriend is there? Mom asked. We've never even met him. You've never asked to. The silence was broken by a new voice, Ryan's wife, Lindsay. You know what? She said. Sophia's right. I've been sitting here listening to all of this, and she's absolutely right. Ryan, we've been together for 8 years, and I don't think I've ever had a real conversation with your sister, because you and your parents are always steering every conversation back to you. Lindsay! Ryan sounded shocked. No, I'm serious. When was the last time we asked her about her life? When was the last time you called her just to check in? Or your parents? You don't. You just expect her to show up and contribute and fade into the background. I'm starting to think we're not the good guys here, Ryan said quietly, and there was something in his voice, maybe the first hint of actual self-awareness I'd heard from him in years. Mom was openly crying now. Sophia, please, tell us what we can do. How do we fix this? I don't know if you can, I said honestly. 7 years is a long time to be taken for granted. We'll do anything. Here's what I need. First, pay for your own holidays from now on. Learn what it costs. Learn what I've been carrying. Okay? Second, therapy. All of you. Family therapy. You need to understand why you created this dynamic and how to change it. In silence. Third, Ryan, you need to acknowledge your privilege in this family. Out loud. To everyone. You've benefited from being the golden child for 35 years. Time to recognize it. Ryan hesitated. Okay, you're right. I've always been the favorite. Everyone knew it. I knew it. And I let it happen because it was comfortable. I'm sorry, Soph. It wasn't much, but it was something. Fourth, you need to actually know me, my life, my achievements, my struggles, without me having to perform or brag about them to get your attention. We can do that, Dad said. And fifth, I continued, this doesn't get fixed overnight, maybe not even this year. I need space, time, and I need to see actual change, not just promises. How long? Mom asked tearfully. I don't know, as long as it takes. Maybe we can talk at Christmas. Maybe not, we'll see. Dad's voice was thick. We've lost you, haven't we? You never really had me, I said quietly. You had a bank account that looked like your daughter. Now you get the chance to build an actual relationship, if you want it. We do, they said in unison. Then prove it, not with words, with actions. There was a long pause. Then Aunt Linda spoke up. Sophia, honey, you mentioned you're speaking at a conference in January? Yeah, National Marketing Analytics Conference in Chicago. Send me the details. I'd love to come watch, if that's okay. My throat tightened. Really? Really, I'm proud of you, sweetie, and I'm sorry I never said so before. Me too, Uncle Tom added. I want to hear about this job of yours, the real story, not just the highlights. Cousin Jessica chimed in. And I want to meet Marcus, properly, and your dog. What's his name? Cooper, I said, smiling despite myself. He's a rescue, golden retriever mix. I bet he's adorable. Send me pictures? I will. The conversation shifted then. Not fixed, not healed, but different. Extended family members started asking real questions about my job, my life, Marcus, Cooper, things they should have asked years ago. My parents were silent through most of it, processing maybe, or just shocked that the world they'd constructed, where they were the stars and I was the supporting character, had finally collapsed. After about 20 minutes, I was exhausted. I need to go, I said. My friends are waiting. Will you call us? Mom asked. Eventually? Maybe, when I'm ready. We love you, Dad said, then show me. Not just now when you're in crisis. Always. Show me you see me, that I matter beyond what I can provide. We will, they promised. I wasn't sure I believed them, but I wanted to. Somewhere deep down, I still wanted to. Goodbye, I said. Wait, Grandma's voice. Sophia, baby, you call me directly from now on, once a week. I want to hear about your life, all of it. I will, Grandma. I love you. I love you too, and I'm proud of you. So damn proud. I hung up and stood there for a moment, letting the cold air clear my head. Marcus pulled me into a hug. You okay? He murmured into my hair. Yeah, I said, and meant it. I really am. We went back inside to warmth and laughter, to people who wanted us there, to a table where I was seen and valued. Jennifer raised her glass when we entered, to Sophia, for knowing her worth and refusing to settle for less. Everyone raised their glasses, to Sophia. We sat down to eat, actual delicious food that I hadn't paid for or coordinated. I just got to enjoy it, got to be a guest, got to be present without performing. The surgeon asked about my conference talk. The entrepreneur wanted to pick my brain about analytics. The author asked about Marcus and me, genuinely interested in our story. This, I thought, is what family is supposed to feel like. My phone buzzed periodically through the evening. Updates from the family group chat that Emma was forwarding me. I glanced at them between courses. Aunt Linda had posted in the chat, "For the record, I'm proud of Sophia. What she did took guts." Uncle Tom, "Agreed, we all should have paid better attention." Cousin Mark, "Ryan, man, you really need to reflect on this." Ryan had replied, "I know, I'm going to." And from Mom, hours later, "We ordered pizza. It's not the same. Nothing's the same. We miss you, Sophia. Really miss you, not just what you provided. I hope you believe that someday." I showed the message to Marcus. "Do you?" he asked. "Believe it?" "I don't know yet, but I hope they mean it. I hope they change, for their sake as much as mine." 3 weeks later, I was back in my routine. Work was busy with year-end projects. Cooper had settled into our home beautifully. Marcus and I were talking about moving in together. My phone had been relatively quiet on the family front. Just weekly calls with Grandma, who kept her promise and actually asked about my life. Really asked. Listened. Cared. Then, 2 days before Christmas, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find a massive package. No return address, just my name. Inside was a scrapbook. Handmade, careful, clearly taking hours of work. The first page was a letter from Mom. "Dear Sophia, I've spent the last 3 weeks thinking about what you said. Really thinking. Not defending, not justifying, just thinking. You were right about everything. I looked through old photos and realized you're barely in them. Not because you weren't there, but because we never thought to include you. You were always the one behind the camera, organizing, coordinating, making things happen while we took credit. This scrapbook is my attempt to see you, really see you. I went through your social media, your LinkedIn, articles about your company. I called your colleagues. I hope that's okay. I talked to Emma. I'm seeing you for the first time, and I'm heartbroken that it took me this long, but mostly I'm in awe. You're incredible, Sophia. Truly incredible. And I'm sorry, so desperately sorry that I never told you that before. Love, Mom." I turned the pages, tears streaming down my face. Each page was dedicated to something about my life she'd never acknowledged before. My college graduation, articles I'd published, my promotions, photos from my social media, me hiking, me at industry events, me with friends, with Cooper, with Marcus. She'd captioned each one, not with generic praise, but with specific observations. "I didn't know you loved hiking. I'd love to hear about your favorite trails." "This article on consumer behavior trends is brilliant. Can you explain it to me?" "Marcus looks at you like you're the sun. I want to know how you met." The last page was a family photo from 7 Thanksgivings ago. I was standing in the back corner, barely visible. Mom had drawn an arrow to me and written, "This is wrong. You should be front and center. You made this day happen. I'm sorry I made you invisible. I'm sorry for all of it. And if you give me another chance, I promise to see you from now on. Really see you." Mom. I sat on my floor and cried, not sad tears, complicated ones, relief and grief and hope and hurt, all mixed together. My phone rang. "Mom," I answered. "Did you get it?" she asked nervously. I did. "And?" It's really good, Mom, thank you." "I mean it, Sophia, every word. I've been in therapy twice a week, Dad too. Ryan's going, we're working on it." "That's good. I don't expect you to forgive us right away. I don't expect anything. I just wanted you to know that I see you now, and I'm so sorry it took me this long." We talked for an hour. Really talked. She asked about my job, and when I explained what I did, she listened. Actually listened. Asked follow-up questions. Wanted to understand. She asked about Marcus, about Cooper, about my plans for the future. She told me about her therapy sessions. About realizing she'd been trying to maintain an image of perfection her whole life, and how exhausting it was, how unfair it was to me. "I'm not asking you to come to Christmas," she said before we hung up. "I know you have plans, but maybe New Year's? Just you and me? Coffee?" I thought about it. "Maybe. Can I let you know?" "Of course. Anytime. I love you, Sophia, and I'm proud of you. I'm going to say that more. You deserve to hear it." "I love you too, Mom." After we hung up, I showed Marcus the scrapbook. He flipped through it carefully. "This took real work," he observed. "She's really trying." "I think so. Doesn't erase 7 years, but it's a start." "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet. See if the change sticks, I guess. Hope it does." Christmas came and went. I spent it with Marcus's family, who were warm and welcoming and asked me approximately 8,000 questions about my life because they were genuinely interested. New Year's Eve, I got a text from Ryan. "Hey, Soph, I'm in therapy, learning a lot about myself. Not all of it good. You were right about my privilege. I benefited from being the favorite my whole life and never questioned it. That was wrong. I'm sorry. I hope we can rebuild something. But I get it if we can't. You deserve better than how I treated you. Ryan." Then one from Dad. "Sophia. I've been writing and deleting this text for an hour. Nothing I say can fix what we did, but I'm trying to change. To be the father you deserved all along. When you're ready, I'm here. Dad." And finally, from Mom. "Happy New Year, sweetheart. No pressure on coffee. Just wanted you to know I've been keeping a journal of things I want to ask you about. It's already 40 pages long. Turns out I have a lot to learn about my daughter. I can't wait to know you. Really know you." Mom. I stood on Jennifer's balcony at her New Year's Eve party, looking out at the city lights. Marcus came up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist. "What are you thinking?" he asked. That last year at this time, I was dreading Thanksgiving, dreading another year of being invisible, and now I'm visible. To you, to Jennifer, to people who matter, and maybe, just maybe, to my family too, eventually. Are you going to give them another chance? I think so, but slowly, carefully, and only if they prove they've actually changed. That's fair. The thing is, I said, turning to face him, I don't need them anymore. I wanted their approval for so long, needed it, but I don't anymore. I know my worth now, with or without them. And that's exactly why you might be able to rebuild something, Marcus said, kissing my forehead, because you're not doing it from a place of desperation. You're doing it from a place of strength. The countdown started inside. 10, 9, 8. I thought about the past year, about finally standing up for myself, about finding people who saw me, about learning that love shouldn't cost anything, not money, not silence, not my sense of self. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, Marcus whispered, kissing me as fireworks exploded over the city. Happy New Year, I replied. My phone buzzed. A text from Grandma Morrison. Happy New Year, my brilliant granddaughter. I'm proud of you, now and always. P.S. Your parents are genuinely trying. I've been watching. Might be worth that coffee with your mom, but your call, I love you no matter what. Grandma. I smiled and pocketed my phone. 2 weeks later, I met Mom at a coffee shop halfway between our cities. She looked nervous, clutching the journal she'd mentioned. Hi, she said. Hi. We sat down with our coffees, awkward at first. Then she opened her journal. I wrote down questions, things I realized I don't know about you. Is it okay if I ask them? Yeah, okay. For 2 hours, she asked and I answered. About my job, my hobbies, my dreams, my fears. About Marcus and how we met. About Cooper and why I chose to adopt. About my surgery and how scared I'd been. About my conference talk and what I was nervous about. She cried twice. Apologized 4 times. Mostly she just listened. At the end, I asked her a question. Why? Why did it take this long? She was quiet for a long moment. Honestly, I think I was so focused on maintaining an image that I forgot to actually live, to actually see the people in front of me. I was performing life instead of living it, and you were collateral damage to my performance. That's pretty self-aware. Therapy's expensive, but it's worth it, she said with a small smile. Your father and I are learning a lot, mostly that we've been terrible parents to you, great to Ryan, terrible to you. Why the difference? I think because Ryan fit the image we wanted. Successful son, prestigious career, perfect family. You were different, quieter, less conventional. And instead of celebrating that, we tried to minimize it, make it fit our narrative. That was wrong. We talked until the coffee shop closed, made plans to meet again in 3 weeks. It wasn't fixed, wasn't healed, but it was honest, real, a foundation to maybe build something on. Over the next 6 months, we rebuilt slowly. Coffee dates with Mom, dinners with Dad, awkward but genuine conversations with Ryan, who was actually doing the work in therapy. They came to my conference talk in Chicago, all of them. Sat in the front row, applauded until their hands hurt. Afterward, Dad hugged me tight. I had no idea you were this successful, this brilliant. I'm so proud of you, Sophie. It was the first time he'd called me that in years. The first time proud didn't feel performative. Marcus met them properly. They asked him real questions, got to know him, even invited us to dinner, which they paid for, insisted on paying for. Small changes, consistent changes, real changes. They still weren't perfect. Sometimes they slipped into old patterns, but they caught themselves, apologized, tried again. And me? I kept my boundaries, said no when I needed to, didn't fund their life anymore, made them work for the relationship. Because I'd learned something important that Thanksgiving. You teach people how to treat you. And I was done teaching people I could be taken for granted. I was teaching them something new now, that I had worth, that I deserved respect, that love without effort isn't really love at all. And slowly, painfully, hopefully, they were learning. The best gift I ever gave my family wasn't money. It was consequences. The reality that their actions had costs, that they could lose me if they didn't change. And the best gift I gave myself? Permission to demand better, to choose me, to walk away from people who made me invisible, even when those people were family. Thanksgiving the next year looked different. We gathered at Aunt Linda's house. Everyone actually contributed. Money, food, help. I brought a pie, just a pie. And it was enough. Because I was there as a guest, not a benefactor. Mom and Dad thanked everyone individually for their contributions, including me. Sophia brought this amazing pie, and we're so grateful to have her here. It was a small thing, but it wasn't small to me. Ryan pulled me aside. I started a new tradition, he said. Every week I call one family member just to check in. No reason, just to talk. You're on my list. I'd like that. And Soph, thank you for not giving up on us completely, for giving us a chance to do better. You're welcome, but Ryan, I didn't do it for you. I did it for me because I wanted to see if change was possible, if you could actually grow. Are we growing? I thought about it. Yeah, I think you are. We sat down to dinner. I looked around the table, at family who was finally seeing me, at Marcus holding my hand, at Cooper lying contentedly by my feet. This was what I'd been searching for all along. Not perfection, just presence, recognition, love that didn't cost me pieces of myself. When it came time to say what we were thankful for, I didn't hesitate. I'm thankful for boundaries, I said, for learning to choose myself, and for the people who've proven they can change. Mom met my eyes across the table, tears streaming down her face. I'm thankful for second chances, and for a daughter brave enough to demand them. It wasn't a perfect ending. Real life doesn't have those. It was a beginning, a better one, built on honesty instead of image, on mutual respect instead of one-sided sacrifice. And as I took a bite of turkey, catered by Aunt Linda, split cost among 6 families, I realized something. I'd finally found what I'd been looking for all along. Not a perfect family, just a real one. One that saw me, valued me, chose me back. And that, more than any catered feast or expensive holiday, was worth everything. If you're watching this and seeing yourself in my story, here's what I learned. You don't owe anyone access to you. Not your time, not your money, and definitely not your peace. The best gift you can give difficult people, even family, is sometimes just distance and consequences. And the best gift you can give yourself? The permission to choose you. If this resonated with you, drop a comment about your own boundary-setting journey. And remember to subscribe for more stories about people choosing themselves. Because you're worth it. You've always been worth it. Even when the people around you couldn't see it, you're worth it.